Mohibul Hassan Chaudhry Naufal is a former Bangladeshi minister in the Sheikh Hasina government. He's now joining me from an undisclosed location. Thank you very much, Mr. Chaudhry, for speaking with us. What is going on in Bangladesh? Because from the pictures that we can see, there seems to be an open war going on between the army chief, General Zaman, the head of the interim government, Professor Mohammad Yunus. Many are saying that, the fundamental point of difference is why is the interim government not calling for elections soon enough? Why are they not agreeing to a timeline which was agreed upon, that elections will be held before the end of this year? Are things going to get to a point where Professor Yunus will be forced to either hold elections or he will be forced out of office?
First of all, we have to understand how Mr. Yunus has come to this position. He had political ambition in the past, which had failed, and subsequently he had tried to dislodge democratically elected governments in the past by writing to his foreign backers. And this is for the first time in his life he has found an opportunity to get state power and do what he thinks is right for the nation. The man has no mandate, neither from the public nor from the political parties. They have claimed that the army chief had invited him to take up the position of chief advisor, although the constitution does not have any provision for the position of chief advisor. They had claimed that there was some kind of presidential reference to the Supreme Court, which was heard by the full bench of the court, and this was the decision. None of this was eventually shown to the public, although petitions after petitions were filed to the court to show whether there was any judicial instruction or order. So, as he does not have any mandate, neither legal nor political, he's trying to create a constitutional anarchy. And one of the ways that he is trying to do this is by discussing in a never-ending manner matters on which he has no expertise nor mandate, such as constitutional reform, institutional reform, etc. Now, he's claiming that his mandate is from the revolution, the quote-unquote upheaval, the revolution. And so he's just simply buying time to give his party some space to establish that party in the political sphere.
But Mr. Chaudhry, you talk about, Mr. Yunus not having any kind of mandate, political or constitutional. But what about the mandate of the army chief, who again last week in a press conference said that it is going to be absolutely essential, quintessential, that elections need to be held by the timeline that was agreed upon, which is the end of the year. And then the next day, I think Professor Yunus met with all the political parties and he said that he can't follow that timeline and that he wants to extend that timeline till June of next year. So what is the army chief's role in what is clearly and should be a political process?
See, army chief represents an institution. And when he took oath as the chief of the armed forces, his oath was to uphold the constitution. The constitution has not been suspended. Without suspending the constitution, they are now talking about reforming the constitution, changing the constitution, etc. So it is the army chief's constitutional duty to uphold the constitution. And as per the constitution, the provision of this particular type of government that we have now, the interim government, does not exist. Therefore, it is on the army chief that the country is brought under a political leadership and election be held. So obviously, from his constitutional position, he has spoken about the need for a political government and elections. So it is actually his constitutional duty that he is demanding this election from. Now, Mr. Yunus has no constitutional obligation. He has no political obligation, and therefore he can just simply say that reform is his first agenda, and he can think about think about election only after the so-called reforms that he's after.
But the curious thing for all our viewers here in India is, why has Mr. Yunus taken such an anti-India position on every issue? I mean, he talked about India's northeastern states being landlocked, that it's almost like rolling out the red carpet for China to come and invest in Bangladesh. There is now again a new controversy that's erupted around the St. Martin Island. It seems like, certainly the view in Delhi seems to be that Mr. Yunus is very, very inimical to India and India's interests. How does that help him politically at all?
You see, he's an opportunist. He's trying to play the tune of the fanatic Islamist parties. Now, even the liberal Islamist parties did not have such anti-India stance in politics before. Mr. Yunus is only trying to beef up a fictitious anti-India sentiment in the country in order to sort of give excuse to the public that India is the reason why he can't do what he wants to do. Now, India has no role right now inside Bangladesh which stops him from holding the election. But it is just an excuse that we've seen this in the past. He's just being the new Jinnah, I guess, where he's just trying to play the religion card. Now, the man himself is not, from what we know from his public life, is not a religious man at all. We've never seen him in any kind of religious gathering ever in his life. Now, for the first time, he's trying to sort of play that Islam card, the Muslim card. Now he's the savior of the fanatical parties. So, and all the militants who had been released from the prison after the fall of the political government, they all used to sort of be part of staunchly anti-India political fundamentalist parties, some of which were banned.
Mr. Mobil Chaudhary, we'll leave it at that. Thank you.